Okay, this is for question 1. It says on the cell membrane diagram, label the following. I'm just going to label them by putting a letter in the right place. So let's start with the phospholipid. Each of these little, I guess they look kind of like pins to me, like the head of the pin and the two tails of the pin. Each one of those is a phospholipid. So all you have to do is circle one and then put A next to it. Remember, the phospholipid has two parts. It's got that phospho or phosphate head and then the two fatty acid tails. The next one says to label the hydrophobic area. The hydrophobic area is all this area in the middle where the tails are, so that would be B. And the hydrophilic area are all the parts at the edge, whether it's the outside edge, which this one is, that's outside of the cell, or the inside edge, which is right here, the inside of the cell. But any place where there's one of these phosphate heads, that's the hydrophilic part. Now remember, hydrophobic means it does not interact well with water, and hydrophilic means it does interact well with water. So it makes sense that the hydrophilic areas, the parts that do interact with water, are on the outside and the inside of the cell membrane, because those are the parts that are surrounded by water. The inside part, this part that's sandwiched in between, the hydrophobic part, that's the one where it's a little tricky for things like water and things that can be dissolved in water to pass through. All right, so we've got to put our letters in the right place. B right there in the middle in the sandwich, and then C, as I said, would be all these outside parts. The protein channel are these things that go through the membrane. There's one right there. D, there's the top of one sticking right there as well. Okay, that's how things get in and out of the cell if they're too big or if they have a charge. So it's a channel made out of protein. And then the last part, the carbohydrate marker, are these things that stick out on the outside of the cell. So those are E. Remember, they label or identify the cell.